All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening and learning, and to the Baal Shadabadat, the house of David. This is Men of Valor Las Vegas Camp. I am Ayash Yatab.
I am Darash.
I'm Kraksa.
All right, and coming to you through the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with the 6th installment of Art of War. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
This is chapter 6, Weak Points and Strong. Sun Tzu said, "Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted." Proverbs 24 and 27.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, and verse 27. It's prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house.
So it's basically talking about being prepared ahead of time. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. No procrastination. All right, next is, therefore the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. 1 Timothy 5 and 22.
Got it. It's lucky. All right, this is going to be the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5. It's lucky. 5 and verse 22. And it reads, "Lay hands suddenly on no man, neither be partaker of other men's sins. Keep thyself pure."
So don't be quick to get physical with somebody in any situation or whatever the case may be. Nor do you, become partakers, which is to, join them in whatever it is that they're doing. Just keep yourself pure, which means to keep yourself separate and pure to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and follow his ways, no one else's ways.
Oh, that means if those, as those people are looting the CVS's and everything like that, I forget what elder, it might have been.
I think Manata Zakbar did a video.
Yeah, I think it was Elder Manata Zakbar who did the video on that. But you're not supposed to be looting, all right? So if they loot, doesn't give you a license to go out and loot as well, all right? It's not like you're in dire straits and these places are closed down, or like you're in the road or something, and you're rummaging around for goods.
Kind of, and typically, in this day of age, it's not best to go with the masses,
Gone.
Because all it leads is to just nothing but trouble and makes it worse for you. By holding out advantages to him, he can cause the enemy to approach of his own accord, or by inflicting damage, he can make it impossible for the enemy to draw near. If the enemy is taking his ease, he can harass him. If well supplied with food, he can starve him out. If quietly encamped, he can force him to move. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. An army may march great distances without distress if it marches through country where the enemy is not. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. You can ensure the safety of your defense if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. Hence that general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. O divine art of subtlety and secrecy! Through you we learn to be invisible, through you inaudible, and hence we can hold the enemy's fate in our hands. Sirach 19 and 25.
Can you grab that? There's all there.
Sirach 19 and 25. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 25, and it reads, "There is an what is that? Exquisite?
Yeah, exquisite.
There is an exquisite subtlety, and the shame is unjust. And there is one that turneth is a wise man that judgeth, Slakia, that justify the judgment.
So, through subtlety and secrecy, you hold the advantage because the enemy does not know what you're planning. He doesn't know what you're up to. So in that time, you're the one that's going to have the power to hold his fate in your hands, and you're the one that's going to get to decide what you're going to do with him.
How can you defend something you don't know what you're defending against?
Exactly.
So you can't be prepared for it.
You can only speculate.
Yep.
Make an assumption.
You may advance and be absolutely irresistible if you make for the enemy's weak points. You may retire and be safe from pursuit if your movements are more rapid than those of the enemy. If we wish to fight, the enemy can be forced to an engagement even though he be sheltered behind a high rampart. In the deep ditch, all we need do is attack some other place that he will be obliged to relieve. If we do not wish to fight, we can prevent the enemy from engaging us even though the lines of our encampment be merely traced out on the ground. All we need to do is throw something odd and unaccountable in his way. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated while the enemies must be divided. We can form a single united body while the enemy must split up into fractions. Hence there will be a whole pitted against separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. And if we are able thus to attack an inferior force with a superior one, our opponents will be in dire straits. Matthew 12 and 25.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
So, you've heard the old saying, together we stand, divided we fall. So, you have greater strength when you're together and lesser strength when you're separated.
Hey, that's the America's model. United we stand, divided we fall. That's the model of this wicked ass kingdom. But it doesn't matter if you stand together or fall. You're going down through the will and barrier. How about Shimmy Al-Shai?
But right now, this nation is
divided.
Becoming more separated.
God. That's exactly, hey, and that's all Bible prophecy. That's all Bible prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Yahweh is using these tactics against you. Who was the most dominant force in
existence
with the military and whatnot.
The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points, and his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. For should the enemy strengthen his van, or his front, he will weaken his rear. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, he will weaken his left.
Hey, how about you? Roughly paraphrasing, the heart of the king is in Yahweh Shimi Al-Shai's head. All right, it doesn't matter which way he goes. All right.
If he sends reinforcements everywhere, he will everywhere be weak. Numerical weakness comes from having to prepare against possible attacks. Numerical strength from compelling our adversary to make these preparations against us. Knowing the place and the time of the coming battle, we may concentrate from the greatest distances in order to fight. But if neither time nor place be known, then the left wing will be impotent to succor the right equally impotent to secure the left, the van unable to relieve the rear, or the rear to support the van. How much more, so if the furthest portions of the army are anything under 100 li apart, or even the nearest are separated by several li. Psalms 38 and 5.
Psalms 38 and 5.
This is Psalms 38, verse 5. It says, my wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness. So, is that it?
Psalms 35 and 8.
Oh, I thought you said 38.
I thought you said 38 and 5 too.
Psalms 35 and 8.
Kind of. Oh, that didn't sound like the one.
Salaki.
Alright, Psalm 35 and verse 8. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he hath hid catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall.
God, now read the one you just read, Psalms 38 and 5.
It says, my wounds stink. This is Psalms 38 and 5.
Oh, read up one, Slaki.
It says, for my, this is Psalms 38 and 4. For mine iniquities are gone over mine head. As an heavy burden, they are too heavy for me.
That's the spirit right there.
Continue on.
It says, my wounds stink and are corrupt because of my foolishness.
So basically what this is talking about is, being caught in your own trap. Let destruction come upon you unawares. It's that old bait and switch tactic. And because of your own pride, you've, like the Lord says, I have laid a snare. All right. Though according to my estimate of soldiers of UA exceed our own in number, that shall advantage them nothing in the matter of victory, I say then that victory can be achieved. Though the enemy be stronger in numbers, we may prevent him from fighting, scheme so as to discover his plans and the likelihood of their success, rouse him, and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity, force him to reveal himself, so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own, so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Conceal your dispositions, and you will be safe from the prying of the subtlest spies, from the machination of the wisest brains. How victory may be produced for them out of the enemy's own tactics, that is what the multitude cannot comprehend. All men can see the tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved.
Go on. And I'll get
Job 18:7. Go ahead.
But that's Yahweh Shimi Al-Shai trying, Abarat that we be those men, us as gold in the fire. He's refining us, all right, so that we, endure thou as a good soldier? So we're being refined to obey the orders, laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai as a soldier obeys a commander. All right? You obey the general. You obey the 5-star general. There is no asking. There's no nothing. All right? There's compliance, or in your error, for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, there's death. All right? This is not a negotiation.
And through that refining process,
Job's lucky.
The Lord's going to give us, some of those spiritual powers. So in a sense, we're going to evolve through that refining process. We're going to evolve into those spiritual beings that we were meant to be, for eternity.
This is the book of Job, chapter 18 and verse 7. And it reads, the steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. And you've seen that now.
Mm-hmm. Basically, you're pretty much putting him in a state of distress where he doesn't really have many options left. He just gets desperate. He doesn't know what to do, and he makes mistakes.
That's what you're seeing with all this across the board in this this pandemic, the government stimulus checks and everything, and whatever Nancy Pelosi asked for and everything. This is tactical, and this is orchestrated by the will and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, by us men, all right, Abarat we be those men, calling and praying to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, fasting, all right, all those things.
not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. Military tactics are like unto water, for water in its natural course runs away from high places and hastens downwards. So in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. Psalms 21 and 11.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 21, and verse 11. It says, "For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform."
So, by not repeating the same tactics that gained you one victory, you have to learn to be unpredictable. Don't be predictable. Keep the enemy guessing what you're going to do next. Keep him scrambling. That's just basically it. Just to be unpredictable. Good. That's all.
No.
He who can modify his tactics in relation to his opponent and thereby succeed in winning may be called a heaven-born captain. Proverbs 10 and 23.
This is Proverbs 10, verse 23. "It is a sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding hath wisdom."
So, that wisdom is that discernment, being able to know and read the situation and know what's going on. And those who are into mischief, that's part of, Satan's devices. And roughly paraphrasing, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices because we know what he's up to and what move he's going to make. So that's why, Yahweh Hashem Shai gave us this, that spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that discernment to know what the next maneuver is going to be. Proverbs 11 and 6.
This is Proverbs 11, verse 6. "The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness."
All right, the righteousness is, the tactics, and the upright is Yahweh Hashem Shai, and, to deliver, to bring home that victory. And as for our transgressors, they fall by their own destruction. So, when the Lord makes his return, he's going to bring forth that righteous judgment. He's going to, cause the wicked to fall, but, he's going to tear this place up. He's going to bring home that victory to his people, the elect, the Israelites. All right, the 5 elements, water, fire, wood, metal, earth, are not always equally predominant. The 4 seasons make way for each other in turn. There are short days and long. The moon has its periods of waning and waxing. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1.
Yeah.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven."
That just tells you that there's a time and place for everything. And, with Yahweh Hashem Shai running things, everything is in order and has its perfect timing. There's no mistakes in his works. So, I hope that this lesson was edifying, and this was part 6 of the Art of War series, Weak Points and Strong. And we'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash.
Double honors and respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim and Aqua that are preaching, teaching, and listening and learning with all truth and sincerity. And to the elect house of David, we give you our utmost sincere salutations. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom wa ababa ba.
Wa ababa ba. Shalom.